So Donald Trump, Ben Carson, you say, golly, you've got these two non-politicians that are leading the way for the GOP. Obviously, it sends a message, a very strong message, and this is why. Here's a story just coming up. Florida State Congressman Richard Corcoran, he obviously isn't listening because he just blew through $238,000 in 5 months. We're talking about a guy who's going to be the Speaker of the state heir. Okay, this is why voters are against career politicians. Cheri, Jacobus, and Erickson are back with me. Erick, I'll start with you on this. I mean, expensive dinners, cigars, wine, fancy hotels, cufflinks for $1,000. Man, I've got a great cufflink collection. I'm jealous. I don't have any that cost $1,000. Maybe I need to get an office somewhere. This is crazy stuff.
Oh, it absolutely is crazy. You know, politicians, they get in Washington or the state house somewhere. They're wooed by lobbyists who used to be politicians serving alongside of them. You and I are worried about our future, the future for our families and children. They're worried about their next private jet flight.
You know, here's the thing, and Corcoran actually just declared war, Cheri, on special interests. He said, I'm declaring war on all special interests, all the Gucci loafing, shoe-wearing special interests, powers that be.
Yeah.
How do you do both?
Well, you don't. And, you know, I think that Florida Republicans, again, you had said congressman, this is in the state
representative.
But you know what? The Republicans, he's in line to be speaker.
Corcoran.
Don't make him speaker. This is what people hate about politicians. And you know what? You can have one guy like this. You may have 50 great, honest, hardworking politicians, office holders that work hard at their jobs. And all it takes is one guy like this.
But is it just one guy like this, though?
Oh, no, this is horrible.
Over the years, we have seen so many elected officials who stay, like they go, especially the ones who go to D.C. They go to D.C., they stay there for 30, 40 years and come back millionaires.
They do.
How does that happen?
Many do. And, you know, I worked on Capitol Hill. I worked for many of them, and I've seen both. And it's so uncomfortable when you know they're the good ones, the names you don't know, the ones that work hard, really care about their constituents. And all it takes is a bad egg like this to somehow get power, and they get this kind of power with the help often of the lobbyists and the special interest groups, which is what's really sad. They give everybody a bad name, and these are the ones that you want to ferret out. But I say shame on his colleagues if they let him become speaker.
But
let's put
to that point, though, Erick, though, you know, listen. Maybe every single one of them go to the D.C. or to the state house, and you know, with the greatest of intentions. But power corrupts, particularly when there's this kind of money being thrown around, and it feels like more and more, most of them at some point make this Faustian deal. And it doesn't help the American public. And I think this is why I haven't heard a candidate talk a lot about it, but I think term limits could also be a major decision in the White House, run for the White House this time.
You know, I think term limits probably will, although we've seen in some of the states that have term limits that they just try to do it faster and at greater scale than in places that don't have it. Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. But, you know, you do have to wonder in Washington, you have some guys who go there, Democrats and Republicans alike, who suddenly their wives and their children get jobs as high-dollar lobbyists, and they have a seat waiting for them when they leave. I mean, to his credit, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of Jeb Bush's policies, but one of them I'm a big fan of is to put a 6-year gap on being able to become a lobbyist once you leave Congress. Right now it's a year, and they just sit out in a lobbying firm, wait for the year to pass, and collect a fat paycheck.
All right, and again, this is Representative Richard Corcoran, who we were referring to. Thanks a lot, guys.